Hello and welcome to Step 3 Consulting. We are live today, Friday at your lunchtime. We're super excited. I am super excited because I have my good friend and author, Delvin Sullivan, here with us today to share about not only about his book and what he's doing with his philanthropy, but also about how to raise your credit score. So get ready for an amazing show because we're about to get started. Here we are, and I want to introduce you. I want to get right away, get to it. My good friend, like I said, Delvin Sullivan, who is the author of The Wealthy Child. He is a real estate agent. He has a cleaning business. He works for the government. Oh gosh, how many jobs is this? Does he sleep? Well, we're going to find out. Let's bring him on. If you have questions, if you are live with us today, I want you to put them in the chat. We'll get it over to him. If you're watching this on the replay, I hope you enjoy it. Please click subscribe, click that little bell on the YouTube page so you don't miss things like this. We'll have more authors in the future. So let's bring him on. Delvin Sullivan, my friend.
Hello, how you doing?
Good, or afternoon, I guess it is.
Mm-hmm.
Is this one of those great Fridays that you have in the government, as I call it? You work hard, though. You work a lot of hours.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
And a cleaning business.
Yeah, I'm trying to work like no one else right now so I don't have to work like anyone else later.
Well, that's good. That is good. I want to start out by talking about The Wealthy Child. This is something I've watched you for a long time. First of all, I got counting it up. So I know I started in real estate in 2008.
Me too.
I think you were new. We were hustling. Why? Why did we start in real estate in 2008? We said, hey, the bubble's busted, and it'll be a great time for us to start in real estate.
Yeah, it was rough, but
it was on the hustle. People ask me now, they say, why aren't you in real estate? I said, God delivered me. God delivered me from real estate.
But it might be a good time right now. I don't know. It seems to be working out well.
If you can find a house to sell.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But I don't want to go back. You still have your license, right?
No.
You got delivered too.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord. So but I've watched you to The Wealthy Child. Tell me what inspired you to write this.
What inspired me was I was actually teaching children at the Boys and Girls Club. And I wanted to give them something to take home with them because I knew they would be going home and sleeping on mattresses on the floor, eating ramen noodles. I wanted to give them a tool that they could look back into and say, hey, I may be sleeping like this now, but I can turn this mattress into a mansion and turn these noodles into a steak by using the tips and tools that Mr. Sullivan are teaching. So I created a book so I could be able to put that in their hands and they could take home with them.
I love that. Because your background is very similar. You went to the Boys and Girls Club as a kid, right?
Yeah, matter of fact, I taught that class at the exact same Boys and Girls Club that I grew up in. So what I did is added that one little piece that we didn't have when I was a child, which was financial literacy. I got all the tools and tips I need to not to become a victim of my circumstances or surroundings. They gave me a place to stay. They fed me. I got strong messages like, if you want to be an eagle, don't hang around turkeys. But he did not have a financial literacy piece. So what I did was said I'd go back and teach all those same things and add a financial literacy piece to it.
Well, I think a lot of us, even as a lot of adults that I know, I know, could use this now, could use this now and today. And what I love about this book, one of the things you told me is and I put this up here, and there's a link there. If you want to go back, or if you're in the replay and you want to pause this and write it down, but honestly, you can just go to Amazon and Google The Wealthy Child. There's the website for it. You can find all the links there. Not only does he have a book, but he also has a workbook. You see that there. When you put examples in this book, you did not use play numbers, I guess is the best way to say it. Explain that. I love this part.
The reason I did that is because I wanted the children. We'll just use the budget, for example. The budget that's, obviously the book is for probably 8 to 13 is when I created it, but 8 to 65 could actually use the book. But I will say in the budget, what they will see, yes, you do see adult numbers. The reason that's done is because I want the children to see what the parents are doing to ensure that they have a roof over their head every month. So although they're learning how to do a budget, they can see, oh, mom may have a credit card, mom's paying on the car, mom's paying utilities, all of these things to keep them afloat. Then my goal is that it helps their mindset when it comes to money, and not only for themselves, but also for their parents.
I love that. And I love when we talked about it, like the house payment, like it's a real house. It's a real average house payment. So those kids are like, oh, this is what it's costing. I know that my two boys have teenagers, God help me. And they'll talk back sometimes. I'm like, you know what? Hey, my teenagers the other day on the way to high school, he said, I said, would you, I was giving him example about if you worked at the fret shop. He's a big guitar player. And they said this, you can't talk back to he said, well, at least they'd be paying me. I said, whoa, I got you, boo. I said, how'd you get those clothes? Who's paying the gas for me to drive you to high school? You like that house we live in? Who paid the water? Who paid the internet? You getting paid? You're getting paid now because your only job is to go to high school and make good grades.
That's it.
Yeah. So I like to remind my children of that already.
See, after you gave him a mindset change, because he may say that again, but he understands the response. Or he may not ever say it again because his mind has shifted. That's kind of what The Wealthy Child is about. Is give you an introduction into the world's economic process. Then as they go out in the world, they'll think about earning their money, saving their money, growing their money, and respecting the dollar. That's what The Wealthy Child is about.
And what is the last, we'll end on this because I love this. So the last pillar of The Wealthy Child is
giving back, which is the most important thing. You'll learn that the more you give, the more you make. And the book is designed to essentially start you from zero, get you to the point to where your money is growing while you sleep. And then it allows you to go back out to your community and give. In the book, the child starts working at a lemonade stand. They're going in, they're selling lemonade. And at the end, his mentor takes him back to the same place and they give the lemonade away. And he tells them the reason he's able to give this lemonade away is because he's learned for his money to grow while he sleeps. So it allows him to give back to the community. So at the end of the day, I try to build something that operates how I do, which is giving back to the community. My money growing keeps household utilities off of my back. So I make it skip 2-3 hours a day not working and go back and give back to my community. And I can do that because my money grows while I sleep.
I love that. So I know that your goal, as we've talked about, is to get this into the hands. I mean, if we had all had this kind of financial literacy growing up, we'd known it from the get-go, no matter what our backgrounds were, how much better off would we have been? And we're going to get into that about credit in a minute. So tell us what we can do as far as helping get this into the hands, get this into teachers' hands, so more children are able to use the book, use the workbook, get these essential knowledge, that kind of thing.
Well, you can reach out to me actually, and I will ensure that you get what you need, or we'll have a discussion. You see scrolling across the screen, there's my email address and phone number.
That's his real number.
Yes, it is. You can send me a message through my actual website, and just give me the point of contact. I'll take it from there. Usually when the people purchase 10 to 15 books or more locally, I'll show up and teach the class. If it's obviously in a different state or different location, then we'll discuss some living arrangements. But that's kind of the gist of it. It's that easy. I noticed Florida and Georgia just passed laws that require all students before it's going to be part of the curriculum to actually have a financial literacy course in place. I plan myself to ensure that it's in the 3 closest counties to me this year. So I would love for each 5th grader to have the Wealthy Child book or workbook or a combination of both. So that's what we're working towards. But yeah.
So Madison, Morgan, and Marshall, Limestone, Madison, Morgan. If you really have connections there, it would be wonderful for our community to come together. And that 3rd through 5th is really the sweet spot. So if every 5th grader just had a basic knowledge of money, credit, what it happens, how it happens, building their income, saving, being able to give back, what a better start we could give our children. No better start. So that's how we're starting. So now we're going to talk about something everybody worries about, everybody thinks about, everybody wishes they had better, except for those few perfect people. I don't know how they get there. I guess you do. You know how they get there, don't you?
Yes, I do.
You know exactly how they get there. But for the rest of us, everybody wants to know how to increase their credit score, or some of it like, how did my credit score get so bad? I don't know. So we are going to talk about what makes up a credit score, where the credit score is. So just first of all, I mean, I think people know, but assuming is a bad thing, my mama said. So what is your credit score? Where does it come from?
Your credit score.
Just we're going to talk about I know we're going to talk about 5 places, but I'm sorry to interrupt. Just what is a credit score? I guess is a better question.
A credit score is your digital fingerprint. I tell folks that so you can know that when you put that out there, that's the one thing that's going to let you in some places. You use that fingerprint if you go into the gym or somewhere else. Well, your credit score is your digital fingerprint to be able to get that loan, that car, that house, cell phone, insurance. And when I say digital, that's the one thing they have from you that identifies only you in many cases. You know, people try to steal your stuff, but that is you, to allow you in all of those places. And the better that it is, the easier it is, and the cheaper it is for you to acquire things. Your 600 credit score may get you a car loan for 5 years at 8% interest. It'll give me the same car, a better term, maybe even a longer term, at a lower interest rate. So you're paying $500 and I'm paying $250. What does that do? I've added $250 more to my quality of life every month.
That's a great way to put it. And I was about to say it's more like 12% interest. and you get the 2.75 down there at the
Yeah.
Redstone Credit Union.
Yes,
I mean, I'm
ma'am.
not saying that's me. I'm just saying I've got friends that I've heard that from.
Yes, that's so you
Let's just
understand
get
that.
to the
Yeah.
part. So one of the big, so 35% of your credit score is,
Hmm.
you say, because of your payment history. So
Yeah. So in reference to this pie that we're looking at, I think what I'm gonna do is talk about the numbers, talk about what you see, and give my 2 cents regarding each section that I think will help you going forward, or the people
which
that
we
you
know
have
you don't
listening.
pay, you got a low credit and low interest rate on that 2 cents. We know.
Okay. Now, payment history. Obviously, it just means paying your bills on time. One
Mhm.
key thing I want folks to know out of that is if you do have a 30-day late payment, and it's going to stay on your credit report for 7 years. Why that's important is obviously, first of all, 7 years. And the reason I tell most students, when you go and get that credit card from the bookstore, you miss that first payment in 30 days, that will haunt you until you finish grad school. So you've actually went through, got your degree. You may want to go into the workforce or went into grad school. When they pull your credit to get you that government job or any job dealing with finance, they're going to see that you missed that payment because it's going to be on your credit report for 7 years. So
7 years. That's a
pay your,
long time. That's a
yes, it
long
is.
time.
So pay your
Now,
bills on time. Mhm.
I would, what I've always, what is slow, slow pay? Like maybe, it's due on the 10th. You just pay it on the 15th. I mean, it's not 30. It's not late. You didn't miss one. I'm
I
not saying I
don't.
do this, but I've heard friends, pay it
Mhm.
5 days late, 10 days late.
Yeah, slow credit depends on who's doing the reporting. Can hurt you, but I don't believe in that term. I mean, just pay your bills on time. There's a due date and a statement date. Now, I will say this: the statement date is what drives your credit score, not
Okay.
the due date. So your statement date may be the 9th of the month, and your due date may be the 15th. So
Okay.
you know that you owe $25, but what's happening is whatever your current statement balance is on a specific date, that's what reports to the credit bureau. And that's what
Mm,
controls your actual score. So you're thinking, hey, I paid my bill, my minimum payment, or whatever that is, due on this date, on time, I should be good. Well, the fact that you paid on time is good, but the fact that your debt to income ratio, or the amount of money that you owed, which is going to be in the next section that's
there you go.
reported to the credit bureau, is actually higher this month than it was last month because you didn't know what date to make your payment on. So if you'd have made this same payment on the 9th,
Ooh.
then the following month, your credit score will be higher. So the reason that's important, because a lot of people are able to either buy a home, cars, all because they understand the power of the due date versus the statement date. Because if you get it wrong, you had to wait a whole nother cycle. We've all been to the mortgage broker and he go, oh, you need 20 more points. Well, these 20 points can come, or you could actually educate someone.
Excuse
The
me.
20 points could come 30 days earlier than the next person who's looking for the same house that you're competing against,
Mm.
all because you understood that the statement date, your balance on your statement date, is what drives your credit score, not the
I
due.
have never heard that. And I worked in real estate. I helped people get mortgages for years.
Yes.
And that makes sense. You put down, okay, this is my statement date. Also, for those of us, I teach disc, us high eyes who are out there, if we start looking at the statement date, which is earlier than the due date, we probably will help ourselves not get.
Too
Yes,
bad.
Sharon.
Yeah.
Sharon
Yeah.
has a great. Okay, so Sharon Maxwell has a great question that I was going to ask too, if you don't mind. Um, Kind of skipping over, we'll go back since one of our viewers has a question. Length of credit history. She says, how does a young person establish credit? And that was going to be one of my questions too. Got a son going to college this year, and that is 15% of your credit history.
the
You've got
best
nothing.
the best way for you to do that is add your child as an authorized user on your credit card. I would take,
Really?
if you have multiple credit cards, I would take the oldest card, add that.
Uh-huh.
Well, hold on. Ensure that the balance is low. Ensure that balance below 10%, which is when it gets below 10% of the available credit, which means if it was $1,000 and
Okay.
you had you owed less than $100, then
Okay.
that's the most effective. But you could probably go up to 300 before it really start doing real damage on your credit card. But so take that card and that history. When you add your child to your as an authorized user, they get your history. So that time
Never
that
heard that
you
one.
had, yeah. So it'll drastically. If it's someone that's trying to increase their credit score, or just an individual or child who you want to build some credit history, so when they finish college, they don't have to keep hearing that story. You don't have any history. You don't have any credit history. This is the ideal way to ensure that your child has some history early on.
But you don't give them the card, right?
No, don't give them the card. I actually just did that for a family member of mine.
Yeah.
I took, yes, I have a credit card that may have a little over, has a high balance on it, that I've had the longest, that I sure actually is a zero balance on it, but the available credit is pretty high.
Yeah.
And he has a 620 credit score, and he's trying to buy a home. So I'll add him to that. So the next month, when his credit cycles, it should definitely increase his credit score. I'm going to say 20 to 50 points. So now he's in the market to buy a home. Yes. But the best way to do that is to add
There should be a
child.
million people. There should be a million people on this call right now. Oh my gosh. Every single person in real estate, I cannot believe all the years I've networked, all the mortgage people I've known. Not one person has ever said that. So that leads us right back to amount. And I've heard everything on this amount. So by the way, folks, Delvin is not just coming up with this stuff. He is trained by Dave Ramsey. A lot of people know that man. So he's certified and trained there, and obviously very smart, but just so that you know that. But tell us about amounts, though, because I've heard all different things on what brings have everything zero, pay everything off, no, keep everything, keep a little bit owed. What is that? What's the story?
What I tell folks is if you can pay off, keep your balance at zero. But if you can't, definitely keep it below 10% of your available credit. Okay. That's when you get the best scoring, when you're below 10%. Now it still starts to really do damage to you once you get above 30 on your. So if you have a $1,000 credit card, as I mentioned earlier, the general rule is divide it by 3 and stay below that number. Whatever your available credit is, divide it by 3, stay below that number. That'll keep your credit score from doing a bunch of fluctuate. But once you get below 10% of that, so if you keep that balance below 100, now you can, if you're a person that's trying to get to 850, the way to get to 850 or above 700 is to be working that score and keeping it below your balances on your credit cards below 10%. So that's when it's the most effective.
A number on that scale?
Yes. Actually, I have an 822. I'm trying to get an 850 myself.
Well, okay. What is 850 the top?
Yes.
Okay. Asking for friends. 850. Wow. Yeah. Mid 700s to me has always in my mind that's really high.
Yes. I had someone, and it's a mindset. I had a lady call me. I think I was showing off, and I posted my credit score back when I just hit 800 because I was so excited.
Yes,
she called
and
she said, well, that's nice, but I can get the same things that you get with a 700 that you got on 800. And my response to her is, because I teach credit, I said, yes, you can, but it will cost you more. Because your interest rate may be 5%, mine is 0. So it's not the same.
Who
But
said
yes, you can
no?
get the same car, you can get the same loan.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost you more. So
Well, I'd be glad to tell that lady that I can get those things too. Um, it's at 120% interest, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, and I have to give a child, but it doesn't matter. You know, we can all get those things, lady. Okay.
that's
Price
good.
negotiable. New credit. So your new, what does that even mean? I don't even know what that means.
New
10%.
credit is that's if as a real estate person back in the
Mhm.
day, they would tell you, we went to see the mortgage broker. People always concerned about how many times you pull their credit. So they would
Yes.
say the whole general rule was if you go in and you got one mortgage company that's searching multiple folks at one time, then it doesn't affect your credit score. Well, that's what you're trying to do here is just monitor how many times you authorize someone to pull your credit. So every time you give someone authorization to pull your credit score, pull your credit, it lowers your credit score. Now, each one of those
Mhm.
are called inquiries. Those stay on your credit report for 2 years. So
Mhm.
it may be, so at 10%, it's not a big hit, but I tell folks the biggest hit comes with new credit is when you go into a bank and the bank says that you're actually trying to get too much other credit. So some people will deny you just because not because you receive credit from other places. It's the
Right.
fact that you're looking for, because credit is about trust. And if it
Right.
looks like you're out there trying to get a whole bunch of credit lines, then I can't trust you with my money. So therefore, I won't give you this line
Right.
of credit,
So
this loan
if
that you're
I'm
looking
going
for.
out and this could happen maybe innocently, say I'm
Mhm.
building a house or something, and I've gone to appliance stores and applied for credit. I've gone to furniture stores and applied for credit. Maybe at the same time, for some weird reason, we've had a wreck and we've also gone to a car dealership. So now in the credit world, this is stepping out into another venue, and I've applied for a Ford F-150, and I've also applied for a pool. So
Mhm.
now I've got all these different pulls at all these different kinds of
Mhm.
things. It's like, whoa, you know.
Well, and what one I thought you mentioned Ms. Maxwell, and I
Yeah.
don't know if you had it happen to you in real estate, but I did. Also, when what they see is, or the fear with applying for additional credit is because once you start using it, it affects your debt to income ratio. So now that $150,000 house you cannot pay on, or I fear you not being able to pay because you affected your debt to income ratio. So now you're as opposed to paying out $1,000 a month, you've received all this new credit. Your total bills may be $1,500 a month. So that keeps me from giving you this loan to buy this new home. So I know I've had folks who have applied for a home, they went and got a mortgage. Before the home closed, they went and bought a new car.
And we want to
And it
kill
knocked,
them.
right, and it killed their debt to income ratio, and they were denied the loan.
Or
So,
even furniture sometimes. You're like,
yes,
why? Why?
yes,
Why did you go do that? But it's on us for not educating them. I mean, they're like, well, we're getting a house. We needed that. And it's like, no, you just added even $200 a month to your, yeah. So last one, types of credit also have a 10% um, on your,
yeah.
to your credit score.
So what ideally, the only reason I don't say is ideal is because you have open lines of credit. But to really get the best score, the algorithm that's doing the calculation, whether it's mortgage, loan, some type of revolving. So revolving credit would be obviously like credit cards. Installment credit would personal loans or car loans, and a mortgage. All that's doing is once again, understand credit is about trust. The score is about trust. So if you can show your ability to pay multiple types of credit on time, you're not trying to get too much, then All those things affect your credit score. So the types of credit are also important.
Gotcha. So you're out there showing that you can do different things.
Yeah.
Well, this has been amazingly informative for me. I know, like I said, I heard some things, and I've been doing this tens of years, 20, or maybe 20 now, and had not heard. And had not heard that. I've got your information down there. If you do not know, Delvin does not just talk to children, although that is his main philanthropy and the thing that he loves to do. He also does this for teenagers and adults who need this. He helps them with budgeting. He helps them with coming to terms. Quite honestly, I know a lot of people, I've talked about it in masterclass. If you have a problem with money or you don't have money, you probably have issues with money. Sometimes we just don't want to face it. We don't want to talk about it. Maybe our family had trouble with money. Maybe we came from poverty. Maybe we came from a family who just felt weird about it, didn't talk about it. There's all kinds of things, and he can help you with that. He coaches on that. He's wonderful. Again, I've got all his information, delvin.sullivan@gmail.com. It's very easy. Got his phone number down there, 458-3227. He is very accessible, very easy to talk to. I know he got me to do some things that I was like, I don't want to do that. And then it's not that bad. It's not that bad. When you just look, it's not bad when you look at it. Sometimes we just fear the unknown or not looking at things that we just need to look at. This has been great, but look him up, have him as a speaker. Have him come to your church organizations, social organizations. He's been, to me, coming to a high school basketball team, baseball team, football team. You're a former athlete yourself, played into college and stuff. I think he would be and is very impactful to those young men. It wouldn't have to be men, could be young women too, but just really can relate to them. So we appreciate you being on here. I think this definitely gets people 3 steps ahead of where they could be, which because being financially not sound and not knowing what you're doing it's just a fearful place. And once you know what you're doing, even if you're in a hole, having a plan and knowing how it works and working that plan, you instantly feel better. So we thank you for being on here and thank you for your time very much. Wish I had one of them little clap. Clap,
Thank
clap,
you
clap,
for
clap.
having me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Well, we have really had a great time today. I just can't say enough. Delvin has been someone that I have looked up to and respected, and I feel very grateful to have him in my corner and call him friend. Whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, we just thank you for being here. You can catch me here. And you can contact me. You can get me on my phone number here. Please, if you're watching on YouTube, click that subscribe, click the little bell, and you will find out the next time we're going live. Next time will be Monday for Monday Motivation, which is 10:30 Monday mornings, where we get you hopped up and ready to go. We're going to have more authors on in the future on Friday, so look forward to that. We definitely want you to subscribe at step3consulting.com. We hope you have a beautiful, beautiful weekend, and just keep giving back. So we will see you soon. Have a great weekend.